Country I ever heard of.
That was the line.
They speak English and what?
Say,
I don't think that's the worst impression.
say what again? I dare you.
I double dare you, motherfucker.
Say what one more goddamn time. Good old Samuel.
Aye, shall we start?
Yeah, let's kick off.
Yeah.
As Gary Neville would say, right.
Right.
Welcome, folks. Welcome, everyone, to this week's episode of the Mates, Movies and Malts podcast. I feel like we're starting to get there, guys.
Yes,
like we've got our backgrounds. We're starting to feel
All
like
three
it's
this week.
Yes, we're there. My name's Peter. I'm one of your hosts, and with me are two of my favourite people in the whole world. That was world. Jordan, say hello.
Hello.
And Stefan.
Hello.
I was expecting a bit more than that, so let's pick it up. So welcome, guys. How are we? How's our week been? How excited are we? It's Friday night. We're recording a podcast.
Recording night. I am buzzing. I really look forward to recording night.
That is good fun, isn't it?
I like, one of us will set out the task for the week.
Yeah.
And spend the week doing a bit of research, and I really look forward to Friday night recording.
Me too. And you both get to look forward to watching me do my Friday night research before we start.
Yeah.
Aye, last minute.
5 minutes scribble before we
exactly.
kick
Aye.
off.
Steve.
Aye, the week has been absolutely torturous. But yeah, always look forward to Friday night. Catch up with the two of yous, talk movies. Can't wait.
Love it. Do you know the good thing about this is probably the first episode that it's not the first one we're going to. Yes. We know we're going to release it. We know the format. We don't need to do the whole. I mean, if you want to tell us why you started the podcast, you can.
With that now.
But yeah, listen, we don't know
5 times.
exactly. But by the point people are listening to this, they've listened to, if they have, 1/4 of an episode by the time we've edited it all. So listen, let's get right into it, guys. We're here to talk movies. We're here to talk malts, which we'll chat about. But yeah, Stefan, what's our topic for this week?
Right, okay, so the topic this week will be, we are going to be discussing our favourite moment of each of the original 6 Avengers throughout their Marvel Cinematic Arc.
That was so well put.
Yeah.
So
It's almost
well
like you
put,
had that written down.
I butchered the start of it and had to improvise.
Instantly shack it.
That sounds like a good one, man. What made you come up with that?
I think I was re-watching Avengers Age of Ultron, which was, I don't think it was very well received at the time, but on revisiting it is
Overhated.
I'm people are much
Fucking
more forgiving of it.
Aye.
There's a lot of really, really good stuff in it. But I happened to be watching that, and I don't want to say anything, but there was a particular moment in that film for one particular character, and I thought, that's their defining moment. What
I already think we're going to have one of these the same.
Oh crap.
Listen, if this goes the way that we hope, then we will get round
To
the rest of the characters. Do you know what I mean? We'll get to the point where we hopefully run out of stuff to say. Do you know what I mean? And then we'll just call it a day and never see each other again. I agree. Age of Ultron, just a little bit of an aside, definitely overhated. But how many, if you look at just the Avengers films, how many franchises in there have got, of all the films they've made, the worst one is as good as Age of Ultron? Do you know, there's very, very few. It gets overhated because people need to find something negative to say. But if that was the first Avengers film, it would have definitely got a sequel. It was a really, really good film. Do you know
I think it's absolutely fantastic now when you look back on it and stuff like that, and I think it was just because of how good everything was. Mm-hmm. It was just, for Marvel, it was just banger after banger after banger. And then this one came out, and for some reason, I guess just because of how good the first Avengers was and just how it made everyone feel. Yeah. For some reason, some people just had an issue with that one.
Felt
and
it was a little lackluster.
Trying to think back to when we went and saw it, because I'm fairly certain we went and saw that together.
I'm sure we did.
I think at that stage we went and saw pretty much everything together.
Yeah. And I think when we came out of it, we were all really, really happy with it.
Loved it.
And then it was just over time, people just started pointing out things that they didn't like, bringing up certain character moments that they weren't really happy with. Looking back now, really felt like nitpicking compared to some of the movies, and I know we never want to like be negative and focus on like bad movies, but there's been some stinkers.
Especially
recently.
like post Endgame, as Deadpool would say.
Yeah. Eternals was alright.
It felt like an eternity watching it. I totally agree. I think it's brilliant. It's like I don't think anybody out there would say it's the best Avengers movie. I would, however, maintain that this might be my first hot take. Who knows? I would maintain that as an individual movie telling a story in its own right, it works better than Infinity War.
I struggle to agree with that because of how much I love Infinity War.
I love Infinity War.
It's my favourite of the Avengers movies. So yeah, I don't think I can agree with you.
We will no doubt cover it, the films themselves at some point, but genuinely, like, I'm not saying it's a better film by any stretch of the imagination. Infinity War's amazing, right? However, and you guys may remember when I left Infinity War, I was pissed off with how they ended it, because for me I felt like it gave away so much of what had to then happen in Endgame, because we knew so many movies were already. So Black Panther disappears, but there's a Black Panther movie coming out. Spider-Man disappears, but there's a slate of Spider-Man movies. I think the first time you watch it on its own, it doesn't work as a standalone story. That's the way I would phrase it.
I would say that as a hot take. I think you're right.
So, because of some nonsense from Jordan, we now have to change it. It was going to be Captain America because he is the first Avenger, but now I've had to change it.
You can still start with him.
I can't start with him because I can't, because then I have to change the order. I've made it so everyone goes first, second, and third twice.
Okay.
Alright.
Beyonce,
it's just how it's going to be. Okay, so we're starting off with Thor, and I'm going to go first.
Okay.
So my favourite moment, and probably his best moment, comes from Infinity War.
Okay.
And it's Thor landing back
sack of
on
shit,
in the middle of the battle in Wakanda. It's such a
fucking amazing, man.
Moment, such a pure audience pleasing moment. The way the music is set up around it, everything's going to shit. Just like everyone's losing like their individual fights, getting like overwhelmed.
The odds are against them at that point.
And it hits. And then the Stormbreaker starts flying around, starts clearing the field. Only the important characters get saved,
obviously,
of course. And then it comes back. The music hits just as he catches it as well. It hits one of like the strong notes, just as he catches it, and then you get the reaction of everyone. My favourite reactions is Captain America, just as he's getting back up, just a smile. It's just great. Just there's my pal.
Dad's here.
Black Widow, she did the holy shit reaction. Was just like totally blown away. And then
Hulk ruins it.
Bruce Banner
ruins it.
I don't think he ruins it.
Oh, it's totally so gimpy.
Hams it right up.
It's so gimpy. Oh, you're screwed now.
He does a bit, but I like that moment. I thought that was good because they'd established their close friendship in Ragnarok, and then he was just thought he was dead, and then there he is, and he's just so happy. For
me, it just kind of contributes a little bit to the silliness of Hulk, but as it's gone through the MCU, but it doesn't take away from probably the greatest character entrance in the history of cinema, maybe. Possibly. It is that good. It's got to be in the conversation.
He's like, he's peak power, he's peak strength at this point. He's obviously got the power of the All-Father and stuff. And he starts launching himself up into the air, and just when he wipes out the ships, flies right through them. Certainly the best iteration of Thor amongst all the MCU movies, I think. I mean, not just the most powerful, just my favourite one as well. The most serious is the "Bring me Thanos" line. Fantastic. He's on a mission. And he just starts wiping out ships, and it's just so good. So good.
I did put down those, one bit that I really liked, and you mentioned it, you hinted at it there, that he's now obviously got the full power of the All-Father and stuff. And what I absolutely loved was in Ragnarok, when he is fighting Hela towards the end before Surtur blows everything up, and Hela's got him over the balcony, and that's when you see the lightning properly going. He's lost his eye, and that moment is just when almost he just finally he lets go, and he realises he's kind of full potential, and then obviously he jumps back down onto the balcony and wipes it, and he has that big moment as well. It's amazing. So that, I think, is right up there. But then it gets trumped in the next movie. But the other bit that I'd written down as well that I loved was also in Infinity War, and it's when he and Rocket.
So that's what you've said is the 3 bits that I had, and I just chose one out of the 3.
There you go.
I'll let you finish though.
No, thank you. It's when he takes the full force of the star. Like, and there's a little throwaway joke from what's his name from Game of Thrones, Peter Dinklage. It'll kill you only if I die. But then the way that, because for me it's a large part of the reason why Thor: Love and Thunder is my most hated MCU movie, because by the end of that point, by the end of Infinity War, Endgame, Ragnarok, he is now a Superman level, like world, it's a universe level character and hero, and then they just turn him into an absolute gunning idiot. And that's why it really annoys me so much. But those moments, man, I think they're amazing. But I think you've got to go with
it's got to
with
be
the entrance, haven't you, Wakanda?
Absolutely, it's so good.
It doesn't really get me. I can't really think of it. Can you think of any other character entrances that are anywhere near that level?
Just in the MCU or just
in movie and cinema? Vader in Rogue One comes to mind for me.
That's really good.
But even the overall scene of that is amazing.
Yeah,
I still don't know if
it's an incredible scene, but I think part of it is just the absolute joy and euphoria of Thor coming back in there. That just gets you
shit moment.
And you feel like it's going to turn the tide. And then it makes that moment at the end of Infinity War even worse because it doesn't. Do you know what I mean? So, or even better, like more impactful. But
and that also gave us one of the other great scenes for that film as well, when he brings Groot and Rocket with him. I am Groot. I am Steve Rogers.
Classic.
Great Captain America, but I like.
Was that going to be your one for the next one?
No.
I feel like we're going to go places with Captain America.
Oh yes.
Right.
Okay. Like I'm worried I'm going to be the only person defending him.
No, I love him.
That's fine.
I'm with it.
Good.
There's none of the 6 original Avengers that the one that frustrates me the most is Hulk. That drives me a bit bonkers, but only because of what he could and should. I think there's just been so much wasted potential, but we'll come on to him.
Okay, so the next character we're going to do is Hulk. Jordan, you are first.
Okay, so for Hulk I kind of had 2, but I'll stick with the first one that I went with. For me, my favourite moment for Hulk is Endgame, and it's Professor Hulk. I love the combination of Bruce Banner and the Hulk being one and the same at the same time, and we end up with Professor Hulk, who looks like Hulk but talks and acts like Banner.
I like it. This is definitely not one of the ones that I picked.
Absolutely hate it.
You hate it? You hate Professor Hulk?
I like Professor. I like the idea. I just didn't like the execution. The issue for me is just how much they've nerfed Hulk. That's the problem for me, right? So like, you look at how much they overpowered Captain Marvel. You look how much by this point they've built up Thor. Cap is able to take on Thanos with sheer strength and stuff like that, to the point where Thanos is surprised. Like Iron Man can go toe to toe with him a little bit on what's the name of the planet, Titan, but Hulk's he's become effectively the weakest Avenger almost, right? And then when they in the Endgame they go back in time, he's like and faking it and stuff. It just doesn't work for me.
He knocks a motorbike
on. It's funny, but it's just I like, because it's not the Incredible Hulk.
It did become a comic,
but then a lot of that came off the back of obviously when Hulk and Tony had the fight with the Hulkbuster suit, and he obviously took off in the Quinjet because everybody was terrified of him, and he became an absolute monster. He fucking wrecked Brazil. Like, I think he and himself, I think it was more of an inner thing. I think that's the way the character went. He became scared, but this is true potential. But
I totally agree. But I think that's kind of the problem, is that what they've done is they've taken away all the danger and all of the threat of Hulk, and equally at the same time they've done something similar with Banner. When you think of what Banner was like in the first Avengers movie, when Ruffalo comes in, you think of what that was. So what he was like then when he came. Oh, the pod mother's just getting involved there. When you think of so basically what he was like, and he was quite. He'd gotten his stuff together. I wouldn't have come on board if it wasn't for pointy things. He's quite relatively sure of himself, but I don't know, they just made him silly, and then that continued on into She-Hulk, which is the worst MCU thing that's ever happened. I feel like he's the character with the most wasted potential is probably the way that I would phrase it, right? I think like you even look at the street level heroes that are in the Avengers, Widow and Hawkeye, and they get real moments to shine, and the Hulk does, but most of them are kind of jokey and comic relief and stuff like that. I don't know if you guys remember, so in line with my complaint about the end of Infinity War, which for the record I love it, right? It's a phenomenal film, and that and Endgame together are perfect pretty much for me. Like, I just think they're amazing. But I felt like at the end of, after you've seen him getting so easily beaten by Thanos, because he maybe is all over the place, and it demonstrates, it's supposed to demonstrate how strong Thanos is, because it's the Hulk, right? And Loki, we have a Hulk, he's delighted he gets to say that. Then the big thing for me is how much they kind of underplayed, spoilers, Black Widow's death, right? Natasha dying. And when they do that, the reaction is he throws away a bench, when in actual fact, see if he'd have found out at the end of Infinity War that had happened, Endgame, sorry, that could have been the moment for him to explode, go absolutely nuts, and be a threat to Thanos. That could have, but I also thought, like, when he found, like, there was just opportunities for him when he's in the Hulkbuster armour, which really annoyed me. You had the opportunity for him to burst out because something drives him nuts, and actually again, like, do something, be a threat to Thanos, because he is, like, in every single comic book ever, the Hulk is, you know. Paper, cool, but so instead of moaning so much about yours, man, apologies.
It was actually your turn to, like, pick your
my favourite moment. So listen, I've done two.
The Hulk. This is my favourite thing about the Hulk.
There's bits that I do love. You hinted at it again, Stefan. In Ragnarok, when Banner realises he's been under for 2 years, I think that's a really, really brilliant little character beat, because he kind of takes it in a little bit, and obviously, you know, with how intelligent he is, he kind of calculates what's been happening, and it's like he almost grieves for the fact, you can almost see in his brain that he thinks about Natasha, and then it's like, right, okay, right, and we move forward, and it moves forward the story. I just think it's a really, really powerful character beat for him. And my favourite Hulk moment in the MCU is when he wipes out Thor. So at the end, after on the helicarrier battle, and they're standing next to each other and just bang. I think that's genius. I think that's a perfect Hulk moment.
Cool. That's fair enough. I'd also picked two. Nobody's mentioned them yet. One of them is the puny god moment, where he grabs Loki. It feels like Loki's going to step in with a monologue, but Hulk just grabs him and just starts smashing him about. I feel like that's just a perfect Hulk moment, because he wouldn't stop and listen to what you've got to say. He's just going to fuck you up, and that'll be it. Moving on. And then the puny god comment afterwards, I think, is quite good. The other one I really, really liked, I just wanted to mention it, is also in Ragnarok. Clearly everybody loves that movie. Where after the fight with Thor and Hulk, and Thor gets electrocuted and Hulk wins that way, and then they wake up, and like afterwards, and Hulk is kind of like taunting him a wee bit to battle them, and he's doing like the whole smash you and all that stuff. I really like that kind of like back and forth, just like the two, because like Hulk is incredibly childish in a sense, and like Thor's dead arrogant. I just feel like the two of them bounced off each other really, really well, and totally. I think it's a shame that after Ragnarok, and even in Infinity War and Endgame, there's not a lot of Hulk Thor like back and forth, apart from when Professor Hulk goes to recruit Thor again, and like Thor's a mess. But my favourite dynamic of the two of them was like proper Hulk, not intelligent Hulk, and Thor. I just always thought the two of them bounced off each other really well.
I agreed. Definitely. The thing I would say I'm surprised about is because I actively didn't pick Puny God, and I actively didn't pick, and I feel like I might have made some mistakes in my list now. I actively didn't pick Ragnarok, the whole kind of the bit that they pulled from Planet Hulk, the Gladiator. Hulk, when he comes in and it's him, and Thor's reaction's amazing. Like, if I was going back and just picking what I think is the best Hulk moment in the movie, that would be it. It would be when he comes out in the roar, because at that point he is at least a version of what the Hulk should have been. Do you know? But
full potential Hulk.
So exactly that. But
it's the bit where he's fucking punching him in the face. That one Thor passes out, and then all the electricity just starts flowing through, and fucking blows him across the arena.
It's brilliant, absolutely amazing. So I suppose the question is then: do they think that have we all done the same and avoided that, or are we picking a definitive mates, movies, and Malt's best Hulk moment from the ones that we've suggested?
I don't know.
It's kind of tough.
Aye.
They all just kind of like deserve their own recognition.
Yeah. I don't think we've had enough of an overlap to pick a definitive one.
I feel like if two of us had picked the same thing, it's much easier to just like say this is that one. Also doesn't help that me and you picked like two and then we talked about another five after everyone listed one.
And I just said how much I hated it.
How much you hated it.
What I would say, because I thought that would kind of be what we would try and do, is almost come up with what the definitive podcast pick is for the best moment.
But we're already one character down and we didn't do it.
Well, no, but we did. We all agreed that it was.
Did we agree that was the best?
That it was Stefan's for Thor coming in Wakanda. If I'm of the ones that we picked, I would openly say that Puny God, I think, is the most iconic.
I didn't, but I would probably agree that.
I think that's the most.
Puny God's going to be the go-to.
Aye. The problem is that now means Stefan's one too.
That's alright. I'm cool with it.
I didn't think it was a competition.
It's not.
I thought we were all here working together.
Agreed.
That's what you thought.
Like the Avengers. Cool. Before we move on, guys, so the other topic that we bring in very briefly every week is your whiskey journey.
Yes.
It's your introduction and your journey through learning about whiskey, and hopefully at some point getting to the stage where you like it, you want to enjoy it. I've picked the whiskey of the week for this week.
Ooh, okay.
And as I've said, I'll always try to make it something that there's at least some form of link to the topic that we're discussing, but also I want it to work in the infinity bottle, so at the end we've actually got something drinkable.
Yeah.
So I've picked one today, and the link's pretty tenuous, to be honest.
Really?
And this is why I asked you to bung the Hulk up the list.
Okay.
Because it was quite hard to actually find specific whiskies that weren't either fake or that weren't like really American strong whiskies that would be wild in this mix, right? So what colour is the Hulk?
He's green.
He's green, so I've gone for a green whiskey.
Have you got a hunk of Berlin fudge?
It's a lump of purest green for all you Blackadder fans out there. It's an Irish whiskey we've gone for today.
Okay.
It's called the Green Spot. It's quite a darling of the whiskey community. It's lovely. Irish whiskey, I think, is quite good to bring you guys into early as well. You tend to find it's a little bit sweeter. You get, like, if you want to talk about the notes, people get shortbread notes and stuff like that. Like it's usually pretty easy to drink. A strong kind of green apple for the wanky content and stuff.
I can't drink them.
What? Who's having what glass again?
You've got Darth Vader. Jordan has Chewbacca.
Have I done this in the right order? Happy days.
I figured you just knew. You'd remembered.
Nope. Totally accidental. Oh, just pulled yours everywhere there.
This is a sipping whiskey.
Is that going to become the slogan? We should have that in the banners. It's a sipping whiskey.
It's a sipping whiskey.
Listen, man, as I said last, they're all sipping whiskies, but unless you lift it with your wrong hand, as we all know.
I'd remembered, so I wasn't going to get caught out of this. I'll always remember after that first one.
Excellent. So, Green Spot Irish whiskey. I would like you to have a wee sniff, have a wee taste. Jordan, I'll pass you around to you. I'm going to use my right hand to hand it to you.
Yeah.
So it's my glass.
And I need to hand it to your left.
There
we go. I very nearly just automatically lifted mine with my good hand there.
This is going to be awkward for me.
I can smell the apples.
Can you actually?
No. It smells like whiskey.
Yeah,
it does.
Real whiskey notes to it.
Would you say it's? Would you say there's any? Do you notice any discernible difference from?
It smells nicer than last week's.
Yeah.
It's
still
how nicer, sweeter, sharper.
I would say
stronger.
I would say sweeter purely just because it hasn't made me like recoil when I've smelled it.
Mate, it's up to you. You can do what you want. As I say, the Whiskey Tribe, whatever whiskey you want to drink.
Much nicer.
Oh, you like that one?
Aye, much nicer.
Nice.
It's because I've got the ridiculous sweet tooth, and that is so much
dead sweet in it
than the whiskey we had.
I mean, it is still whiskey.
But the whiskey we had last week was very, very nice, and I don't want us to get cancelled straight away. I still want help off the pod mother. So
of course, it's one of us.
Whiskey. But this is nicer.
Do you know what? One thing that came to mind the other day that will be quite interesting is that, so as we record these and as we move forward, we'll always have a record of what whiskies we've tried and when. So if we ever get to the stage where you guys are actually really liking them, and then you like, oh, actually no, I am picking up a bit of apple off that or something like that, it'd be interesting to then go back to ones that you didn't really like or you didn't know previously and see if you get anything different from them. I think it'd be quite an interesting dynamic. I'll be flying.
At this rate, we're going to be revisiting pretty much every one of them. I don't mind saying this. This is atrocious. I'm trying to hang on. Let me have another sip.
Let me have another sip.
You like that?
Still the same.
I don't know what it is.
You just not like shortbread?
Love shortbread, no sound unpleasant.
Oh, I've done it. Bugger. Automatically, I need to.
Whoosh!
Pow!
What I didn't notice, and what people, if anybody is watching this, may notice, is that I was pure looking for the bottle there, and it's because the pod mother had very skillfully and surreptitiously snuck in, took it, and pulled herself a dram. Which, well done, mother, well done.
None of us caught it.
Slange. So, listen.
Slange bar.
Green superhero, green whiskey.
Which is actually whiskey coloured.
And it's going in the blend. I'll pull that in. So, let's move on, shall we?
I like it.
My favourite whiskey ever is Lagavulin 16 that Nick Offerman loves in Parks and Rec. And I liked it before he did, to be fair. Or before I'd watched Parks and Rec is probably a better way to put that. But excuse me,
Did you get him on yet?
I told him about it. His name's literally in the bottles, and I'm saying I liked it before him. But
get him onto this.
Oh, that'd be amazing. That would be my dream of getting him on anything. He fell out with me after I recommended the whiskey to him.
I actually asked Stacey for tickets to go see Nick Offerman in Glasgow for my birthday. Well, I didn't ask.
You got your tickets to go and see Nick Jonas?
I dropped a lot of hints and then
Nick Gage.
didn't happen. I should have just bought
Nick Gage would have been good. Nick Cannon. If you go and see Nick Cannon, he'll get you pregnant. Right,
so who's next, Stefan?
Alright, so the next character we're going to be covering is Black Widow, and Pete, you are first. What was her best moment in her entire MCU arc before she splatted on the ground?
Hey, come on.
Give a spoiler warning, man. It's only 5 years ago.
Be nice.
Surely it's more than 5.
No, 2019.
Really? No,
Yeah.
you'd be the guy to know.
We need to do that game at some point.
Yeah.
I love ScarJo. I love Black Widow. I think she's one of the characters that literally translated perfectly from what she was in the comics to the movies. I think that she is the perfect representation of that, and there's not a lot of liberties taken. So I think she's brilliant. My favourite moment with her and it's maybe a little bit of a left field one, in Avengers, the first Avengers film, when she goes to recruit Bruce, and it's how casual. So she obviously is representing that there's nobody with her and whatever else. He shouts, and then her instant reaction to that, to then stand up, point the gun, and then tell everybody to stand down. And Bruce obviously knows, you said you were alone and stuff. I just think that's the perfect 20-second encapsulation, of who and what Black Widow is and should be. I just loved that brilliant little character beat.
I'm second, and I'm actually going to put another moment from Avengers, which I think perfectly encapsulates her even better than your moment.
Okay. Thought this wasn't a competition.
No, it's not a competition.
Look at him, one shot of whiskey, man.
Mine is better.
He's ready to fight. He's James McAvoy.
I'm not going to lie, I already feel drunk. I've had one whiskey. Anyway, it's the moment where she interrogates Loki. That back and forth, trying to make it about Hawkeye, lulling him into that false sense of security, and he starts monologuing just like all the great villains do eventually, and then she kind of plays as if he's really gotten to her and things like that, and she can't even look at him, she's so put off. And then he drops the line about Hulk, and then she catches on, and then she does the whole thank you for cooperating and stuff like that. I really like that moment because I feel like it summed up what Black Widow does that the rest of them can't. The reason she's in the team, what she brings to the team, is that kind of thing. That's that moment I thought perfectly encapsulated her character, and a very, very short and very enjoyable scene.
So for me, my favourite and I think the best Black Widow moment is the Vormir decision. When her and Hawkeye go to get the Soul Stone, and obviously there's a back and forth, they're fighting each other, they don't want to hurt each other, but in the end she decides that it's going to be her that's sacrificing herself over him, because he has more to live for. She wants her niece and nephew to have a father at the end of this war. She wants his wife to have a husband at the end of the war, and effectively he has more to live for than she does. He kind of touches on that a wee bit in the Black Widow film, if you've seen it. She obviously a very terrible childhood, and she doesn't want his kids to have a kind of childhood like that. I've went a lot darker than you guys have went, but for me, certainly, I think that was her best moment.
Also, like we said, Black Widow, really like that film. Go back and watch it. I think it came out at a really unfortunate time. It's really great. Everyone's great. David Harbour's great. I think Florence Pugh is brilliant.
An amazing replacement for Scarlett Johansson.
Iron Man 2 is when she came in, so she's been in it as long as anyone for the Avengers. So we had loads of her. She's in every Avengers movie. She was in Winter Soldier. She like I don't think you needed the solo movie to know her.
Yeah. So we're clear. I'm not criticising.
Oh no, I'm talking about the criticism it gets.
I'm not criticising Black Widow for its placement to say that it took anything away from anything. I just feel like more eyes would have been on it if it had happened between Civil War and Infinity War.
Yeah, I think the problem it faced as well was it was supposed to be a cinema release, and then she got fucked over and it became a Disney home movie.
With COVID and everything.
And then I think that really played a lot to do with it. Had there not been a lockdown, had there not been a pandemic, had it actually come out in the cinema, I think it would have done a lot better.
The other moment I had was the little moment I love in the Winter Soldier on the escalator. When they're trying to keep, and she just, and it's more Cap's reaction, but it's very much a Black Widow moment.
Wet blanket. He's never done that.
He's a VL.
He broke his VL.
Exactly.
Captain America broke his VL in that film.
But I loved it because
it's off with him in First Avengers. You're out of order.
Who does?
The thingy for Game of Thrones. What's her name?
She plants the lips on him. It's not. She didn't get off with him.
Is that not enough? No,
it's hardly what you would call a winch.
He's a partial VL.
He doesn't even kiss her back. If anything, he's a VL victim.
He tries to get into her, but he doesn't know what he's doing. Can't hold that against him.
The V stands for victim. The V stands for victim. Victim lips. That's the next edit. Listen, I can't. I'm raging I forgot your moment, to be totally honest, because yours is definitely better than mine, but Jordan's picked a definitive one for me.
What's that?
The Vormir.
Okay, fine. But
I cried my eyes out of that.
Yeah, it was fucking heartbreaking.
Really powerful end for a character that had been in it.
Hey Steph, who is next on the list?
Okay, so the next character we will cover is Captain America. And Jordan, you get to go first.
I'm kind of dreading this a little bit, man.
So I don't like Captain America. I think he's beige, he's vanilla, he is a wet blanket, he is a dud, he is boring as fuck. So I think his best moment, and my favourite moment, is from the first Avenger when he crashes the plane into the ocean and freezes to death. They should have left him in the
doesn't
ocean.
Die, but
he does freeze to death. They thaw him back out.
They thaw him back out, but he didn't die.
That's a shame, wasn't it? So when he freezes, they should have just left him there.
Do you know what? Your shot's just done.
They should have just left him there.
Pete, you're next.
I tell you, it was going to be bad. I don't like it. I don't like it again.
Go.
I feel like I remember on pretty much every other episode that we've tried to record of this, we've been talking about how positive we're going to be, and we're not here to lance things. Hair. He does have nice hair.
I'll give him that.
To say that Cap's had no moments that are able to be labelled as positive, I think is a proper heads gone.
Could you still have the Avengers without him?
No.
Does he really? Does he bring that much to the table?
I think he brings more than most.
Pete will list his moment.
Yeah.
I'll list mine, and then we can revisit that conversation afterwards.
I think it's just as well I've done two for Cap, because we need two to debate.
This isn't to take away from in case you steal mine. The films. Like, I love Winter Soldier. That's a great film.
Yes, I knew you loved it.
Captain America.
But he's got good moments in the films.
I was really happy that he was reunited with his boyfriend. That was great. That was amazing.
Are you watching Winter Soldier from the perspective?
The Black Widow, the Winter Soldier.
Just maybe they'll kill Cap. Just get rid of him.
Fine.
So you like Crossbones?
Aye.
Yeah. Okay.
That guy was just misunderstood.
Right. Listen.
He went for a promotion and he didn't get it.
Positive. Moving on from Jordan's absolute heads gone. I've gone for what I feel is probably the most obvious one. He lifts Mjolnir in Endgame. For me, that's a punch the air moment in cinema. But specifically, the thing that I absolutely loved about it isn't only that he lifts it, and then Thor was, I knew it, they'd hinted at it in Ultron and stuff like that. It was how good he was with Mjolnir.
Yeah.
Like, I thought, again, it was a really good way to explain that, do you know what this is? This is an actual, genuinely expert combatant. And so immediately he's got tactics that you've never seen Thor doing with Mjolnir. And I just thought that was absolutely brilliant. But I don't think there's been many moments in cinema history that have had as many people in a cinema whooping.
I've picked a moment that's I feel like kind of explains Captain America as a character more than anything else. I've actually written a fair amount about this.
Half his great granddaughter-in-law.
No, I'm going to just pretend none of that happened.
Grandniece.
Right, okay.
Listen, if it was for Luke Skywalker.
So the moment I've chosen is the speech that he delivers to everyone during the Winter Soldier. Alright, so he comes over the comms and lets everyone in S.H.I.E.L.D. know that Hydra is actually taking over. In particular, and I've actually written out the entire line. He says, I know I'm asking a lot, but the price of freedom is high, it always has been, and it's a price I'm willing to pay, and if I'm the only one, then so be it, but I'm willing to bet I'm not. And I love that particular line because it just kind of captures who Captain America is supposed to be. He's inspirational and he believes that people will do good. He is, without the powers, Marvel's Superman. He's got that exact same type of ideology.
Boy Scout attitude.
The Boy Scout thing. He believes that people are fundamentally good, and if you give them the opportunity, they will do the right thing. So I really love that moment because it captures who Captain America is.
Still a virgin, but
what?
He was still a virgin.
You need to let it go. Just let it go. I feel like that moment in that speech perfectly captures who Captain America is. And I really enjoy that one. I understand the Mjolnir moment is much more impressive and things like that.
It's his greatest moment. They planted the seed 18 movies previous.
I think that's why it's not that great, because you seen it coming, you knew it was coming.
No, but again, it's like, you say that, but I think that, again, the Russos did such a masterful job of the way that they framed that you think it's, or a lot of people certainly, and I certainly thought it was Thor that was doing it, and then the second it goes past them, you realise, okay, this is going to be Cap. But because Cap hasn't been on screen for maybe 30-40 seconds at that point, and it's been Thor fighting Thanos, and Thanos is about to get the best, and the blade, his own axe, Stormbreaker, starts to just go in through his breastplate, and then you see it and you're thinking, right, okay, well, Thor's about to hit him with this. I think it's masterfully done. But as I said, I think it's one of those moments that I've never seen cinemas, and certainly not in Scotland, have that sort of reaction to anything. We're the people that hate the folk that clap on flights and clap in the cinema, and then the cinema went daft. And I know you were saying, I always wondered why I saw you doing a wee fist pump when he got his arm broke. But now I understand it.
I will give him one moment. While you've been talking, I have been thinking, and there's one moment that I really do like about him, and it's before he gets the super soldier serum. When he's
about to say the bit I had an honourable mention of you.
And the challenge is to get the flag, and everybody's trying to climb up the pole, and he's clever enough to just pull the pin out, let the pole drop, and take the flag off it.
I thought you were going to talk about
the grenade. I thought you were going to say
the grenade.
Listen, I'll let you pick a definitive moment.
Mjolnir's the right one.
Isn't it?
Mjolnir's the right guy. I just wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about that speech just because I really like it. I think it works really well.
I'm here for it, man. I'm here for it.
It's
my episode. I just wanted to throw.
You do you, darling. You do you.
But yeah, Mjolnir works. Mjolnir's the best one.
It's the best one. Thank God I've finally got one. Listen, Hawkeye, I actually do love him a bit. I think again, a good example of how to translate a character that's maybe a little bit wild in the comics to a film,
like
but without doing what the X-Men did in the original films, which I'm currently rewatching, funnily enough, and just go so far from what they were in the comics. So listen, I think the MCU's Hawkeye is a good version. My favourite Hawkeye moment, going a little bit emotional, is the moment, I suppose it's a bit of a twofer, when he goes, that was a very American thing to say, that wasn't it? A twofer. When he's the one that tests the time travel in Endgame and goes back, and he hears that his family are there, right? Now obviously he's back in time at this moment, so it hasn't brought his family back, right?
Yeah.
But when he hears them, the desperation in him, hysteria, even though he knows he's only got 60 seconds, I think that's a beautiful moment. And then it's kind of made whole when Hulk snapped, which by the way, Hulk snapping's a good moment. How did we not mention
that's
that?
That's a really good moment. I didn't even think.
But when Hulk has completed his snap, and that's the bit where he is Hulk, and Professor Hulk's brilliant, because he's like, no, it's got to be me, I'm mostly I actually can't believe I never picked that. Why?
Oh, wow. That needs to make a cut.
That, Eileen, did you get a phone call, or did you just like,
she started watching TikToks?
Open up TikTok.
She just put on the Fields Arth and Rye.
That was what that was.
We'll wait patiently while you explain yourself, Eileen.
That was a belter.
Just an accident.
What were you doing?
Sorry. No, I just hadn't turned my phone down.
She was bored. I'm going to see what's happening on TikTok.
You're sacked tonight? Honest to God. That's unbelievable. Anyway.
Hey, fuck
was
it.
hilarious.
So sorry, I don't think
That was so funny.
That was good.
I'm flabbergasted.
Back on Hawkeye, please. Back on topic.
Aye, because to be fair, I had deviated into Hulk a little bit. I couldn't believe I never picked that moment.
So.
No, when he realises that, and then after Hulk's completed the snap, and his phone goes, and it's Laura, and it's just the way he answers the phone, I just think
hear his voice breaking.
It's
as soon as he answers the phone.
It's amazing, and it's got the stakes of everything and what's happened to him in the 5 years between Infinity War and into the word hello. Like, it's brilliant.
Fantastic moment, but just out of curiosity, like, why was he still paying that phone plan for her? Like, she's been gone for like 5 years or so.
He probably gets it for free. Like, it's probably Tony Stark pays it.
She's saying an Avengers phone
Either
plan.
that, or maybe Verizon blipped. Like maybe the telephone company blipped and it came back. Like if she blipped, maybe her phone went with her. But equally, he's also been living it up in Japan, like slaughtering criminals.
Who we just spoke
Probably,
about? Who we just spoke about was the
he probably just never cancelled the direct debit.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Like, he just never cancelled the direct. Maybe it's a company.
He was busy. Absolutely 100% busy.
I honestly think it's a work phone. When you become an Avenger, you get a work phone.
I agree. I just feel you need to cut Hawkeye and his grief-based direct debit decisions a little bit of slack.
I just thought it was a weird moment. So I've went with, at the end of the Hawkeye TV show, when Hawkeye finally suits up in a sense and is wearing like purple. It's not his actual proper suit from the comics. Couldn't be, but it's about as close as we're ever going to get. Yeah. And the fact that he got to do that with Kate Bishop, and it just fits perfectly. And we also, not just that, but we also get the trick arrows. And he starts like firing the trick arrows at stuff. So my favourite ones were, and I've written them down. First of all, the one that freezes everything. Yeah. That guy's definitely lost his leg. 100% his leg is gone. There's the split arrow where it like breaks off into three, and he takes out two of them, and the other guy catches it, but it's fine. Sets up for the funny line of, oh, nice shot, and he was like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
And then I don't even know how to describe this. I called it the inflatable castle. Why did I write that? Inflatable castle.
When you were prepping for this, when you were prepping for this, you were also prepping for Luca's birthday party or something.
So it's the one where he fires the arrow, and then
the bouncy castle comes out.
That's what I should have said. The inflatable bouncy castle. Bouncy castle comes out and like sends guys flying. Yeah. That was really funny. That got me when I watched it.
What I would say is that we didn't see these trick arrows previously. Like in Avengers, like you get
this was more
properly. No, you get the exploding one that Loki catches.
These were more comic book.
This
is trick arrows. These are.
I like these ones because these are funny comic book. Trick arrows. The stupid ones that they never would have put in an Avengers movie.
But the boxing glove comes out of it.
Just that kind of thing.
Not the explosive stuff. The ones that bend round corners.
The stuff that makes sense. Like I don't want those. I want the stupid ones.
When you're fighting the tracksuit mafia, you need an inflatable bouncy castle.
Absolutely.
I'm going to be honest. I did not think for 1 second there was going to be any moments when we're talking about the greatest moments of the 6 original Avengers coming from any of the TV shows.
Well, mine is also coming from TV shows as well.
I totally get it. I think it's a great shout.
Loved it. Right, you're up.
Oh, cool. So again, mine comes from the Hawkeye TV show, and it is when Kate Bishop and Hawkeye are kind of getting to know each other a bit more, and Kate Bishop asks, what is the best shot you ever took? And he explains the story that the best shot he ever took is the shot that he never took, and it's when he was sent by S.H.I.E.L.D. to assassinate Natasha, and he didn't, and he brought her in, and she became a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, and they became murderous best friends forever.
Love that, that's a great moment.
I thought that was a tremendous moment.
It's a really
get a look into Hawkeye as a person, and it's not always about the kill, it's about the bigger picture, and he saw more in her than just a target. I think the Hawkeye TV show was better for Hawkeye than any of the films, because you got a much deeper look into him as a person. I think
I think it's hard to disagree.
You seen a lot of him, but it was almost like the butt of the joke of the Avengers.
Actually, no, I disagree with that. I actually think that one of the things that they did really well in all of the Avengers movies is that they didn't feel out of place. Black Widow and Hawkeye, they're always given moments to shine. I mean, mention the exploding arrow. Loki catches it and the arrow explodes and stuff like that. He's got massive screen time in Age of Ultron, which, funnily enough, the backup I suppose that I had was his entire relationship with the twins. Like that, he has that kind of little competitive, not competitive, but kind of acrimonious thing.
When Peter runs away and he draws the arrow, he's like, nobody would know.
Exactly, which is a great moment.
Good.
But also the pull yourself together to wonder, like you either come out and deal with this and be an Avenger, or you stay. And so I think that they're given real moments to shine in the movies. I think definitely does more for his character development, but I think it's a lazy criticism from a lot of people that you see online saying that they're done dirty or they're out of depth, because I don't think they are.
One of the things that I really enjoyed in the very first Avengers movie is because Hawkeye gets kind of brainwashed very early on. He's a threat, and he's a credible threat throughout it. Fair enough, he never has like a one-on-one with Thor or Iron Man or anything like that, but he's constantly like fucking shit up.
The man takes down a helicarrier with one arrow.
With a USB stick?
Aye.
Literally with a USB stick.
Mm-hmm. I thought he was fantastic.
Which, tell me that's not a good trick arrow. No, but I think that they're all good. But again, I do think they're given many moments to shine. There's the real emotional beat that I'd kind of gone for, but I think that his relationship with Black Widow is 100% the kind of the defining thing about him. The fact that it's always platonic, which they done well. They also done that well with Cap and Black Widow. It's not a lazy romance. He's got his family. She's the aunt to his kids and stuff like that.
He's pining for a dead woman.
Well, exactly right. But I think he's one of the more relatable characters, and I think so his relationships are really what define him. So I think if I was swaying away, I would say that the basically the way that it's alluded to that you're talking about in Hawkeye, the best shot that he ever took was the one that he didn't, and it's about the entire relationship that has been now in how many films. I think that wins it for me.
I'm quite happy.
Get up, you got our dicks. Is that 2-2-1?
2-2-1.
Competition, but it's
let's face it is a fucking competition. We made that competition the second we started. We literally, for anybody that's not in our group chats, we said in the lead up to this, like I was like, we would keep scores and stuff. Stefan, no, I want this to be really kind of holistic, it's a collab. We're all alright, brilliant. Let's agree. We'll do this. What? 2 minutes into the first one, I want to beat you. Sorry, I can't help it. So, Hawkeye, right? So now that we're back up to the high level superheroes, who's going first?
So we are on to our final character. It is Iron Man, and
it's Stefan.
I get to go first.
There is a fucking shock. Anyway, Iron Man.
Right, okay, so we're on to Iron Man, and I am first. Then it's Job, and then it's Pete.
So I'm last.
Yeah, last now.
You suck, man.
So I've went with the classic line, I am Iron Man. Okay? This felt like the really, really obvious one.
Which time?
What?
Which time?
The first time. It's the final scene from the very first Iron Man movie. And I think this would have caught most people by surprise, because all superhero movies, everyone maintained their secret identity, and this was the first one that got away from that. But it's perfectly in keeping with his character, especially with the little back and forth that he has with the journalist right before it. I just think it's such a fantastic moment, and it set the tone for all MCU movies going forward, because it broke the mould of what superhero movies were, and kind of just made this feel very, very different. Maybe we wouldn't have felt it as much at the time, but looking back, just era defining of just how incredible that one moment was.
Yeah.
Of just like, nah, fuck it, I am Iron Man.
It's a brilliant moment, and it, like, you're absolutely right. It does 100% really kind of like in a single 3-word phrase. It really does define who he is. So you're 100% right. I think also a really nice piece about it is Iron Man came out in 2008, right, which was the same year The Dark Knight came out. And The Dark Knight, for me, greatest superhero movie ever made. And I don't think that's wild. I don't think there's a lot. It's quite a basic opinion, I would say, right? It came out the same year, and it didn't only survive, but it was so different from what we were used to. They were still building. Incredible Hulk was due out, and I think without that moment we don't get what we end up getting. So I think in terms of the history of the MCU, I think that's a massive point. I love it. Cool. So it's Jordan saying, because I get to go last on this.
Jordan saying you get to go last.
Do you know how serious he takes it when he's first, by the way?
He's really.
He was ready to throw.
Really fucking hands.
He was ready to throw hands there.
I picked my two characters, set it up because I got to organise it.
Yeah.
And I went for it on those two characters.
Yeah, that's fine. Listen, we'll get
on Harry Potter.
He's the one with
Next week's the
glasses.
chef episode. No, sorry, mate. It's Three Musketeers.
Three Musketeers. Yes, there it is.
Yeah, that's a solo episode.
I bet him at the start that he couldn't fit Three Musketeers in this episode.
Oh, why would you? I mean, you'd always be able to do it.
Fucking shoehorn.
What we need to do is make it that he needs to do it in a clever way.
Nah. So, like we were talking about, when we were talking about Captain America, mine has come back around to Civil War, and it's the moment where Tony puts it together that Bucky was the one who killed his mum and dad, and he goes fucking tonto. He goes mental, and Cap tries to defend him. Oh no, he didn't know what he was doing, he was under Hydra, blah blah blah. Nah, fuck that, he still killed him.
Yeah.
So he went mental on Cap, and he got Friday to learn his fight patterns. That was so fucking sneaky.
Aye.
But it was amazing. He knew for a fact he couldn't out punch him, so he had to use his tech against him.
You can feel how much he hates Captain America, even in this description.
So my favourite Tony Stark moment is when he leathers fuck out of Captain America.
I do love that he wins that fight.
Because his stupid wee pal killed his mom and dad years ago.
I do love that he wins that fight by outsmarting him 100%.
He uses the tech against him.
I think Civil War's a phenomenal film.
Great film. That's the best fight scene in Civil War, because there's no superpowers. Apart from, obviously, he's in a suit, but it's hand to hand.
Yeah.
It's a toe-to-toe fight.
Yeah. I would go as far as to say it's one of the best fight scenes in the MCU. Fantastic moment.
You said it.
Fantastic moment.
But that is my favourite Iron Man moment. I know there's
also the second greatest I don't care in cinema history.
Yeah.
I don't care he killed my mum.
Yeah.
What a quote. Yeah. That's a great line.
Very real.
I don't give a fuck.
Like it.
Yeah. And so there's a couple of cold lines as well, actually. He's my friend. So was I. So was I. Like, brilliant.
I know we're not doing the Winter Soldier or anything, but he's got a great.
You've already done the Winter Soldier. You've done the full film.
No, not the film. The character.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah.
Just the moment where he says, "Do you even remember them?" And he's like, "I remember all of them."
Yeah.
That's a great line as well. Actually, it's also the way he delivers it as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what it actually weirdly reminds me of? And I'll move on to my example. But it weirdly reminds me of one of the very, very few lines that Hayden Christensen delivered very, very well, when he, especially in Attack of the Clones, where he's a bit ropey, when he's talking about how he slaughtered the Sand People, and he actually gets really emotional. It's like,
call him that anymore.
What?
Sand People. Nobody opened my page yet.
When he kills all the Tusken Raiders, and he talks to Padme in the hut or whatever it is, and he's like, I slaughtered them, I murdered them all. Yeah. I hate them, and the way he delivers it actually, and he gets grief for it. I think it's one of the standout bits.
It's a very raw line.
Aye, and he delivers it with sheer hatred.
He hates them the way I hate Captain America.
Exactly. Aye. My favourite Iron Man moment. Again, I've gone down the emotional route a wee bit here. In Endgame, we've done the snap. It's the big battle. On your left has happened, and he sees Peter. He sees Peter Parker, and he just grabs him and hugs him, and it harks back to Homecoming. No, we're not there. And he just grabs him, and Tom Holland's reaction's brilliant as well. Oh, this is nice. Like, a bit surprised. Like, and just he's
not missed anything.
Aye, because he's skipped a beat. But it's because he was his entire motivation for doing it. When he looks at that picture and stuff like that, and he risks everything. He risks his wife, his daughter, his life, because of the guilt he felt because he wanted and just the sheer elation and the breath of relief in the middle of all that chaos that he's seen Peter. I think is absolutely amazing. And then there was another one. This was 50-50 with it, and I've also realised that I apparently can't write numbers, but he I love you 3000 in the hologram at the end, and he looks right at her where she's sitting, and it's silly, but my god man, as if I hadn't cried enough during Endgame.
Oh god,
it's just genius.
Sorry?
I think this is the one we might struggle on, actually.
Yeah, might really struggle.
So yours was I Am Iron Man. Of them, I'd say that's the most iconic.
Mine was beating the fuck out of Cap.
Was it actually though? Because what did you start out with? It wasn't that. It was the reaction to finding out that Bucky killed his mum, and that whole piece, which I think's a great shout as well. And mine, I suppose I need to pick one. I would say it's when he sees Peter.
The Peter Parker. Yeah, it's really, really nice.
I'd probably, out of all of them, I'd go with the Peter Parker one.
Yeah. Well, I'll let the two of you have that one.
Because to be honest, when I'm saying them out loud, I was kind of leaning towards I Am Iron Man, because it's the definitive moment, isn't it?
Is it just so we finish on 2-2-2? Is that what?
Oh no, because I think Jordan swayed to mine, but I feel like I'm swaying to yours. Yeah. I feel like if I'm voting for one, I'm voting for.
Vote for yourself, you dick. I'm trying to give you a win.
No, I know, mate, but a draw's not a win. A draw's not a win. I feel like
don't let him win, but
I agree with that. But the I Am Iron Man piece is all you could almost put that if you were to explain anything in the entire MCU, right? You could imagine that being the bit that defines the MCU. That clip, I Am Iron Man, it's just everything happened after that. For me, I think that's it.
Fair enough.
Thanks very much, man.
And there you have it, folks.
Stefan won.
For the week, Stefan unfortunately won. But
I don't know if I'm comfortable living in a world where Stefan wins.
It's alright, it's Harry Potter next week, he's not got a chance.
Is it Harry Potter next week?
No, it's
not. 100% rigged it in my favour. That's fine.
Went first on all your favourite heroes and all that.
That's it.
Listen man, I totally get it. We will absolutely gain vengeance at some point, I would assume. Revenge of the Nerds.
We'll get him.
Yeah. So who gets to choose next week?
Pedro.
Is it?
Yep.
Happy days. I'm now going to sit. It's Breaking Bad week.
Season 3, what?
So Breaking Bad, specifically not season 1.
See that bit where he breaks bad?
Who does?
Don't know their name.
No, listen, I'll give it some thought, but I've got some ideas.
Cool.
Man, I got some ideas.
That's us for this week then.
That was good, wasn't it?
That was great.
I really
enjoyed it, guys. Except for the monologue in the middle.
Aye. We'll cut that out.
Aye. He won the episode and destroyed it at the same time.
We'll put the link for the actual Winter Soldier film in the
description. Which is shorter.
This is why we have editing, just to make sure that.
Aye. No, I feel it.
But
man.
Thank you very much for joining us. It's been a great week. This has definitely been the best one we've done so far.
The most polished.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And you can catch us on all our socials. We're on Facebook, Twitter, X, YouTube. We are all over the place.
At Mates Movies Malts.
And if anybody has any suggestions, or if you've got a favourite film you want to hear our take on, or anything you want us to cover, you can also drop us an email at matesmoviesmalts@gmail.com.
And if you don't enjoy the content, or you want to give us negative feedback, please direct every single bit of it at either Stefan or the Podmother.
And you can also ram it right up your arse. Thank you very kindly. Bye.
Bye.